Alright, well, it's now 2:30 in the morning and I can't sleep, so I figured I might as well try and do another video of what I'm going to call serious business. And it's internet slangy for nothing serious at all. This is not serious at all. This is going to be stupid, silly crap. I'm calling it serious business. For no reason at all. I don't know. Whatever. I can't sleep, and I'm not going to make any sense in these. And they're going to be worthless fluff that no one should watch anyway. But maybe I'll tie it into important stuff somehow. Anyway. Something I found out interesting. I was discussing with someone the other day about House. The show House. And how I think it's very similar to Sherlock Holmes, and I was like, the way he figures out stuff is very similar to the way that Sherlock Holmes figures out stuff, and I like the way that the show is structured in that sense. I really think it's a cool show, and so and she said, "Oh, well, there's a new Sherlock Holmes movie starring Hugh Jackman," and right then I wanted to just punch her in the face because I had to punch someone. If someone had the audacity to cast Hugh Jackman as Sherlock Holmes, someone needs to be punched, and she was the closest available. So but I didn't. I was nice. I didn't do that. I went to IMDb instead and found out that it was Robert Downey Jr., who seems to me to be an odd choice, but still, I like Robert Downey Jr. I dig him. I think he's cool. I'm okay with that. And Jude Law, at first I thought, well, weird choice for Dr. Watson. I mean, Dr. Watson's supposed to be kind of a little bit on the pudgy side, because he's been inactive since the war, so he kind of sits around and doesn't do a whole lot of active stuff. So I would imagine that he eventually builds up a little pudge, but Jude Law is kind of a skinny dude. And then I watched the trailer. Oh, and the other thing that worried me was directed by Guy Ritchie. That's a little scary. Because as much as I enjoy Guy Ritchie movies for the fun fluff that they are, I'm kind of worried that maybe he doesn't have the skills to bring it for Sherlock Holmes. And so I was a little bit worried. And I watched the trailer, and I became incensed. Because there was all this action, explosions, and there was the girl floating up on the... You go watch the trailer, you'll see. There's a girl floating up off this bed of fire and stuff, and oh man, there's supernatural stuff going on, and there's over there is Sherlock Holmes doing all this actiony stuff, and I was like, I don't know. But Robert Downey Jr. looked good as Sherlock Holmes, and Jude Law looked good as Dr. Watson. And apparently Irene Adler's going to be up in that, which, she's one of my favorite characters of all time, of all fiction. I just really like the idea of her. Totally awesome. So, but then I got to thinking about it, and I realized that in updating it, you may have to increase the action content, because as far as I can tell for the time, Sherlock Holmes is a pretty action-packed book. I mean, there was that scene in the I think it was The Sign of Four, where they're running down the river on a boat, and they're shooting at the little pygmy dude, and the pygmy dude's blowing poison-tipped arrow darts at the people back. I mean, it was kind of action-packed, and so the action didn't bother me, and I was kind of worried about the supernatural stuff. I can only hope that there isn't anything actually supernatural going on, because Sherlock Holmes famously does not deal with the supernatural, at least in the Conan Doyle books. He doesn't go up in that. So now I have gone from being angered and incensed to really anticipating. I think that's going to be good times. Definitely good times. The scene in the trailer with the pillow, and Sherlock Holmes explaining to the maid what she needs to do, that had me laughing pretty good. I'm laughing just thinking about it now. So that's really cool. But yeah, going back to the supernatural thing, Sherlock Holmes is like Scooby-Doo, and Scooby-Doo's like Sherlock Holmes. It always ends up being the janitor or something like that. So he's fighting Aleister Crowley in this. So this is apparently based off of a comic book story that was never published. Aleister Crowley better damn well end up being just a normal human being. I swear, if they make him some sort of supernatural being, that it just ruins the whole point of Sherlock Holmes and his deductive abilities, because he states time and time again, if you go read the Devil's Paw, the Devil Monkey Paw, or whatever it was, that one, he says equivocally, he says straight up, I don't deal with supernatural. Same thing in The Hound of Baskerville. He says, something like, if there are devils, then he must have agents of flesh, and those are the ones that we have to go after. But we can't go after the devil; it's supernatural crap. So yeah, let's hope that's good. The other one I found out, I was listening to the Non-Prophets podcast, which I think is really cool, and everyone who's interested in atheism should always check out, in the rare instances that they actually post a podcast. But they mentioned Matt Dillon. He mentions the new cat. What do you want? What? All right, that's Pixel for you. He's saying hi. They mentioned God, what was the name of that movie? It's like Argos or Agros or. I'll have a link or something. I'm not going to go look for the name now. Yeah, so it's about Hypatia of Alexandria, and that's kind of a story that interests me. I'd like to know more. I have a Wikipedia version of it in my head. I don't have a full grasp of what's going on, but essentially she was born in like 350 or 370 or something like that, and then she died in 415 or 417 or something like that. And what it was she was this really smart lady, really awesome, apparently quite pretty, and she was a teacher in Alexandria, and she was apparently super smarts on the maths and things. She knew all about that stuff, which is really cool. And she apparently had some nasty things to say about Christianity and Christians, and I couldn't discern this, because there seems to be some debate as to whether or not she was actually atheist, or if she had more paganistic leanings. They don't make that clear. Well, unimportant. Because what happened was there was some turmoil between like the governor of Alexandria or some high up governmental official and a Christian leader in Alexandria. The Christian leader wanted to put up all these churches and stuff, and so they were trying to have some sort of discussion, and the Christians took her to be the agent that was causing the turmoil between these two people. And so when the Christians came in and tried to take over, they took her to a church, apparently skinned her alive, dragged her through the street, and then threw her onto a fire while she was still alive. Very interesting, very interesting. So that's another movie that sounds like it's going to be very cool. And that whole thing got me thinking about movies that have kind of atheistic bents or leanings towards atheism. And two movies that I thought up was The Wicker Man. I'm talking about the original, not the Nicolas Cage crap. The original with Edward Woodward, The Equalizer. Look it up. Which is a fantastic movie, and I think everyone should watch. And Cool Hand Luke, which is another great movie, and I can't explain either of them without ruining. I can't explain why I think they have an atheistic bent without ruining the movie, so I don't want to comment on it until someone says they've seen it. But yeah, those are two great atheistic movies. If anyone has any movies that have atheistic leanings or anti-religious meanings. I'd love to hear about them because it'd be interesting to see what else is out there. And I think that's it. Serious business. Peace.